Welcome back, Chemistry 30. This is the EQ3 acid and base equilibria review for the exam. So the sections here, it's a fairly big section. So 3.1, a brief review of acids and bases. 3.2 is when we did Bronsted-Lowry acids and bases. 3.3, relative strengths of acids and bases. 3.4, the autoionization of water. So that was the old KW expression right over here. The pH scale. So looking at the pH scale and looking at the relationships involved with that pH, pOH, concentration of hydrogen ions, concentration of hydroxide ions, etc. So all those calculations. Then we looked at strong acids and bases, so ones that dissociate completely. Weak acids and bases dissociate partially, so we end up with a Ka and a Kb value. And then acid-base titrations, dealing with indicators and neutralization reactions in which you're given the molar concentration of one thing and you figure out the one of the other. So the format will be part 1, multiple choice, 10 questions worth 10 marks. And the problems are short answers, 4 questions worth 25 marks for a grand total of our usual 35 marks. To give you a hint of what those questions will be, so given an acid, that should say given an acid and base equilibrium, identify the Bronsted-Lowry acid, Bronsted-Lowry base, conjugate acid, conjugate base, strength of each of the above, and the direction of equilibrium. So if you look back at EQ 3.3, you'll see the type of question involved with that. Number 2, in EQ 3.7, 2 and 3 will be from EQ 3.7. Basically, the 2 different types there. So given a weak acid or base, so depending upon what I ask, and the pH, determine what the resulting Ka or Kb value will be through the use of an ice chart and known acid and base relationships, such as from down here. All right. So given the pH, determine Ka, Kb. Number 3 will be vice versa. Given a weak acid or base equilibria and a Ka or Kb, determine the pH through the use of an ice chart and the known acid-base relationships. So if you look back in EQ 3.7, you'll see both types that we looked at there. So that's what those questions involve. And then lastly, the last thing we did, given a neutralization reaction, determine the molar concentration of the unknown acid or base. So it's kind of a 3-step process. You'll be given information involving a titration. So you'll know the amount of the liters and the concentration of either the acid or base. Then, of course, using stoichiometry, using C equals N over V, you should be able to figure out everything that you need to do there for that 3 steps. And on the back of the exam, of course, I will have this attached, so you'll be able to use that, the multiple paths from going from one substance to another, the indicator chart, and the relative strengths of acids and bases. You'll have all of that to look at. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, contact me. Otherwise, we'll see you again.